Yes. So it helps to allow ourselves to reflect. It's anybody, she or he, anybody, you know, a girl or a boy has the same issues in a different way, you know. Your brain is likely to store information that you have written down in your diary. So that's why I tell you, write down. If you write, it goes into your head. If you don't write, it does not go into your head. Don't write useless stuff. The more you write, it will make stronger connections with the information you have learnt after you write them down in your diary or in your notebook or in your subject copy. Make it easier for you to recall in the future as well. So this will help you in multiple ways. It will teach you how to learn to write, improves your handwriting. At the same time, it gives you good boost of memory. Right? Point me out, just drop a message if I am wrong anywhere. It inspires you. It unleashes your creativity. If anyone writes anything, this boy in your class, I guess, I don't know his name, I forget his name, he writes poems, right? So he used to come and show it to me. I don't know why, but he used to come and show it to me. There were other better teachers than me. I don't call myself a great guy. So he used to come and show it to me, sir, how is this? I used to love his synchronization, that thought that he's synchronizing, he's getting these things right. What would have happened if I would have only shown, oh, this is wrong, you cannot write it this way, I don't like it, come on, go. What would have happened? I would have put an end to his boost of energy, of his writing skills. But that is not my job, to correct him. My job is to hear him. So he will feel more cozy, he will feel more, happy, he will feel more secured that someone is listening to me. That diary part, I become the diary for him, or I become his friend type of him. To get to know him, I cannot be a teacher at that time or a sharer. I have to be a friend like him. So that's why I share info. I listen to him carefully. I read his poem. Then I say, okay, great job done. Very nice. I love your synchronization. But there are few parts where you have made mistakes. You have to change those. You do it yourself. And then you come back again. Let me see how many can you rectify. So that gives him that energy. That's how you share. That's how you try to build up someone. Suppose, have you seen these mistris or these masons working on buildings? They even put in broken bricks. They show you the wall is total right, but there is a broken brick inside. You don't throw away the brick. If you cut a finger, if you have a finger cut, I'm talking about fingers. I laugh a lot. There's a huge sarcastic thing about fingers. So if you cut your finger, you don't cut it and throw it away. Right? If my finger gets cut, I just don't cut it and chuck it out. I try to bandage it, take care of it. I take an injection, I take a TED pack, and then I put medicine on it. I take care so that it doesn't get wet. I nurse it. I don't throw it away. So that is how you have to build yourself. Writing diaries. Annie Frank's diary is just not a normal diary. We haven't gone into it, but before going to it, we must know what is a diary actually. What does it contain? Right? What does it contain inside it? It's all about feelings. It's like a best friend, as Annie Frank is saying. I'll come back to your book. that she's looking for a friend which she doesn't have. And who's going to listen to a 13-year-old girl's school? Why won't that person? So instead of anyone wasting my time and talking to someone, if someone doesn't want to listen to me, I can make friends with my diary. Where she says, um, now I'm back to the point that prompted me to keep a diary in the first place. I don't have a friend. Let me put it more clearly, since no one will believe that a 13-year-old girl is completely alone in the world. People have to know that I'm not alone. And I am not. I have loving parents and a 16-year-old sister, and there are about 30 people I call friends. I can call friends. I have a family, loving aunts, and a good home. No, on the surface, I seem to have everything. Everyone. Except everything. Except my one true friend. You can call everybody friends. All your family is friends. Because you talk freely, you understand, you share your feelings. But you don't have that right friend. Loving parents are there, everything is there. Friend in need is a friend indeed. Getting that friend word is very difficult to explain. I'll give you a small example. I have a friend. Well, I don't call that person a friend. During that person's struggle time, I was there with her. She's a she actually. Very junior to me. Kid. She's like a daughter, like my daughter's age. But we got to know each other right through. She was my son used to call her Didi. So somehow through Facebook she came to know that I am the father, and he was in this what do you say, Navy, Coast Guard. So he was friends with this girl, and she somehow came to know about me, and we got to know each other. I was in Kolkata, we were in the same section, and she was also in the IT firm for some time. But her dream was to become a air hostess. She's now in Qatar Airways. So we were never friends type, but I was always there for her. I don't know why. Not physically there. 1:30 in the night, phone call comes. Oh, I am feeling this, what to do, I don't know how to do this, do that. Okay, jot down messages, give her inspiration, tell her how to do, what to do. Short of money, okay, come on, take money, use it, do it for this. You need this, you have to go to that training, you have to go to this, you have to go to that, you need this to buy this. Every time her parents could help, she used to always tell me, you give now, I'll give it to you later. Once I join once my dream comes true, and God, really, she worked hard, and today she's touch wood, she's working, she's one of the best air hostess. She's already 2 years, 3 years, she's bought a huge flat, invested in money in her flat in Kolkata and all that. Big shot. She gets 3 lakhs rupees per month, and she's a kid, and she's doing well. And she doesn't talk anymore to me now. Sometimes, maybe once in 6 months or something, I get a message. How are you? And all that. When the pandemic began, I got a message, and after that I didn't. So I don't care. In the time of need, I was there when that struggle was going on. So I remember that I had someone. She remembers, I hope she remembers that there was someone who helped her out. It's great. I started helping her because she had a relation. I mean, she was knowing my son. So I respected that human being. Okay, come on, she's also like a kid. Let's be there for these children. They're growing, they're kids. So she was like a kid to me, but our talking was like friends, young friends, very close friends. As friends, how friends talk. So it was like that. So she used to get that security, that what to say, that I have someone who's there for me. But again, I was not there in person always. I never met her properly, only once or twice. But that because of that phone, she was able to get in touch with me. Whenever anything would happen, she would always call me. This is the problem. I knew her phone coming in means there is something coming in, so I have to get ready. So I have to get myself free. Okay, fine. Now let's deal with this. Issues used to happen. But this person didn't have anybody. That person used to call me, but where will I go? I had no one else. I used to never share my problems with anybody. For the past, I have not shared. I don't share it. I don't know why. I don't feel secure. So I talk. As I said, I have never talked to that person on phone, but yes, I message. My problem gets solved. So, no, on the surface, I seem to have everything. On the top, she has everything. Family, friends, everyone is there who she can call friends. Except my one true friend is not there. All I think about when I'm with friends is having a good time. I can't bring myself to talk about anything but ordinary, everyday things. We don't seem to be able to get any closer, and that's the problem. Maybe it's my fault that we don't confide in each other. In any case, that's how things are. And unfortunately, they are not liable to change. This is why I have started the diary. To enhance the image of this long awaited friend in my imagination, I don't want to jot down the facts in this diary the way most people would do. But I want the diary to be my friend, and I'm going to call this friend Kitty. Got my point? All I think about when I am with friends is having a good time. I can't bring myself to talk about anything but ordinary everythings. We don't seem to be able to get closer. She's comparing a diary with her normal friends. But in any case, that's how just things are. They are not going to change. This is why she has started a diary. Normal friends, I'm not getting that true friend. She's not able to confide, is the friends which she has, the family which she has, to tell personal things privately to a person that one trusts. That's what I was trying to tell you. I don't trust anybody, but I don't know how I trust. Now, when I was, my mother was still alive, when I was in this bodyguard section and all that, I was not supposed to tell anyone where I am going, whose duty I am doing, who I am taking care of. So only one person who knew where I was my mom. At any cost. Before my mom died, cell phones had come and she never had a cell phone. So from my cell phone, I used to call the landline, which used to take 6 rupees per minute at that time. Phone to landline, mobile phone to landline was expensive. Even mobile to mobile call was damn expensive. I used to pay 10,000 rupees a month for my mobile bills only, postpaid mobile bills. It was very expensive. I'm telling you the amount because I'm trying to think about that time. I'm talking about 2010, 11, 12, 13, 2010, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so mobiles were there, but it was very difficult at that time. Yeah. It was cheaper by then, but when the mobiles came out, I bought the first mobile. I pestered my mom to buy me a first mobile, and I got it at that time. When my mother passed away, it was cheaper. But during, I'm talking about that during when I was working as bodyguards and all, I has to work. So I was not supposed to tell anybody that where I am, where I'm going, or what am I doing. So my mother used to know. I has to have that faith, that she's not going to tell anybody. No matter what, she's not going to tell anybody where's Ronan. He's gone somewhere else. I used to say, my friends, anyone known to me used to ask me, where are you going, boss? I'm going to Gujarat today. Okay, so when are you coming back? I won't be coming back. I'll be staying in Kolkata. And that night I'm in Durgapur only. I don't go anywhere. I was there. My job is to force me to say lies. So as I said, I don't. I lie. I've told you, but it helps someone else out. So I didn't have that trust from the past 13 years. I don't trust anybody. So now I don't know how I've got it. So I've started trusting. Now to she was not able to confide, as I said, in each other's case. So now things are diary has come. To enhance the image of this long awaited friend in my imagination, I don't want to jot down the facts in this diary that the way most people would do. But I want the diary to be my friend, and I'm going to call this friend Kitty. Right? So we'll keep it till here. And I guess no, we have time for another video. I'm coming back in the next video.